Good day to you. This is Randy, the MGC, and I am going to bring to you today honesty, a really key and important character tool, character trait. And you'll hear me reference to truthfulness or truth, as they are, tied into each other. Honesty determines a series of events that we perceive as reality. And the practice of honesty or lies can be observed by others in the way that we live, the way that we communicate, how we dress, and also how we behave. The outer layers of what people conceive displays the internal circulatory thoughts we allow to penetrate and cycle in our mental sphere. So the practice upholding truth it's a demonstration of practicing a high moral code, whereas dishonesty is, a person which is hiding their contractual alliance with, living lowly. Right? So honesty has a connection to having a moral code of conduct, but can be subjective to one's own, perception of ethics that they, themselves are connected to. So internally, we create our reality based on our resonance with our lack of truth. Truth resides at our core, at the soul level. So when we guard, the truth and dedicate ourselves to exploring truth, then, we expel what is false. So the most rewarding lifestyle is to live in truth. But our perception of truth, is rewarding based on, our temporary circumstances or, how we, temporarily see it. So, truth can get distorted when we believe falsities, presented to us, and we, accept those contracts, and this can happen through like trauma, traumatic experiences, through things that we want, things we desire, distorted feelings, when we are in, isolation for an extended amount of time, when we lack, when we have a lack of exploration of our, of who we really are, our real self, then that's what happens. So to feel something strongly does not equate to truth being present, though a person may, purport that it's honestly how they feel. But, that's a big misconception. The practice of corroborating our actions and speech, based on a feeling, can lead us, into a lot of trouble. And, it can lead us to, manifesting hell. Those egoic thoughts and thoughts and identities can blind us from seeing truth's presence, or, the lack thereof through our inability to embrace it wholly. So instead, the truth requires an uncovering and work to be done to receive its, potent presence. So I could give some examples, both good and bad, are positive and, not so positive, right? So one example will be, let's call him Chuck, right? Chuck loses out on a lucrative contract, that he desperately needed, because he, didn't go over the details as proficiently as he maybe should have. So, he admits to himself, that he had a lack of focus, and and it's been more than just, this one incident. He recalls other important situations where, his lack of focus may have costed him, more than just money, more than just this one contract or contracts, so he decides to affirm that he is, disciplined and he can focus, or that he is focused, and that he can achieve greatness, things of that nature. And now he is motivated to seek opportunities to reinforce those thoughts. So he affirmed, and then he looked to, bring it to the external of, making it real. So, an example of that's, not so positive, is like, let's say, Sam. Sam arranged his life, based on a false identity, such as being being sociophobic, right? So due to a criteria, designed by secular social standards, he takes synthetics and, accepts the comfort of isolation, and accepts the varying, levels of rehabilitation that comes along with that fear. So, the cycle of thought and failed attempts at, experiencing growth, imposing on his perception, keeps him in a mental, keeps him in a mental state, resulting in a resistance to grow. Which in turns reinforces the narrative of negative thoughts. So something I want to bring to you is, healthy practices, to, bring you closer to truth, and some of the things I thought of is like, of course, affirming truths that, connect you to the most truest source, the Most High, and I know what y'all thinking, like, he likes his affirmations. Like, yeah, the affirmations work. They're helpful, extremely helpful, and are an important catalyst to changing one's mindset, which, the battle is in the mind, so if you can change your mindset, then you can change your reality, so it begins in the mind. So another practice would be, to seek out to connect with persons who live in truth, so you surround yourself with good company, then you inspire each other to live better and be the best version of yourself, rather than, connecting with lowly ones who are going to inspire you to, chase after your lowly desires. So another practice would be, examining where your aspirations root from. Is it embodying the laws of the Most High, or those lower nature desires? So examine it, like, where did it come from? Why do I want this? What benefit is going to come from this? What am I going to have to sacrifice? Another would be to read books that inspire a higher vibrational thought pattern. Good book I would recommend is, the 14 Keys. It's written by Chief Yuya Hassan Lanu, excuse me. Another one would be to dispel negative thoughts with, positive actions, self-loving actions, things that reinforce that, you have that love for yourself, and that you care about yourself. Another key one that I can't, go without mentioning is to practice being discreet, because all of us have some levels of dysfunction, and those who tend to talk more without having a purpose to speech usually ends up, saying something that is, a lie. So if you practice discretion and, purposeful speech, then, you keep yourself from, playing in the devil's playground, right? Say idle mind is the devil's playground. So when you just, talking and yapping, you're gonna fall victim to, you're gonna say something. You're gonna slip up and say something that you shouldn't say, right? So, please like, subscribe, comment. If this is helpful, that's good and that's great. Show some love. I appreciate you listening. Shouts out to, whomever this may touch and reach, no matter what time zone you in, or time frame you in, whenever this reaches you, and that goes out to my children as well. Like, we all on this journey, but, we're doing it for those, reaching back for those who, will listen. So, this is important work. If it reaches 2 people, if it reaches 2,000, 200, whatever it may do, those who listen, I really hope, or I will, that you get something out of it that's of great use to you. Till the next time, peace.